Three, two, one.
Hey, what's happening YouTube? So I'm doing a few little things to a couple of my cars, and I thought I would just give you guys, well, take you guys along for the ride. I've got some OBR parts to go on, and I'm doing a little bit of sort of like carb maintenance kind of thing. So let's have a look to see what I'm doing. So I've got my Bonehead BAJA, the 34cc reed OBR, and I've got the carb off that, and I have got the MCD, which is basically got the same motor as the Kraken BAJA, the Bonehead BAJA. It's also a reed, full mod 34 reed. So the other day when I was got this out for a proper run, for those of you who watched my last video, I was having sort of like a lean condition, and I thought there was a leak on the carb, but it turns out, well, what was happening is the prime bulb was not filling up. Even me pressing it, it wasn't filling it up, even when the motor was cool. So I played around with some stuff, and it turns out the diaphragm in the 1107 was obviously perforated, or a hole, or the gasket or something. It wasn't working properly. So this one over here is getting the carb just cleaned on the outside. I'm going to replace the little diaphragm. That's the old diaphragm that came out. Can you guys hear that? Good wrenching weather. There are tiny little hailstones falling at the moment. Anyway, so that is the old diaphragm and gasket that came out of it. Here is a new one. I just picked up a kit, a rebuild kit for the carb. Here is the little carb over here. So for now, I'm not going to be touching the needle or the metering. That's all fine. I'm happy with the way that's working. All I'm going to be doing on the top side of it is to change out those. I've got a brand new bulb to stick in there as well, and then we'll open the other side and see what's happening. As for the Kraken Bonehead BAJA, it is getting an OBR Delrin power stack. So these are the same as the alloy power stacks that OBR sells. It's actually replacing that, which is a DDM stack. So these Delrin ones are half the weight. So I'm pretty happy with that. So that's going to go on to there, and hopefully with that replaced, with those little parts there replaced, that carb is going to work 100%. The other thing I just wanted to point out quickly is, can you see these two? These are the isolators from the OBR motors. And can you see they're slightly different? So the older model got these ones over here. So that's got to be about six mils. And this one over here is maybe about 4 mils. Is it double? Let's have a look. Yeah, there's a bit of a difference. Anyway, so the new ones, which this car got here, has a bigger boss. So this piece over here that the threads go into, versus that one. And that one there, you can see it's pretty skinny. So I guess the OBR customers were needing a little bit more thread, is my guess. So this one's got a little bit more thread, so you could probably get a little bit more torque on there when you're tightening them down, versus the one with the less thread. I'm guessing guys were stripping the threads on these ones. Anyway, let me get on with some stuff, and we see how we go. So I have opened up the bottom, and there you can see there's like a little sieve in there, and these are, that there is the screw hole. So this is where the fuel comes in, basically. So that and that came out. So I'm going to replace it with that and that. And then I'm going to close it all up, and that should be that one. This is the V-stack that comes off the MCD. And can you see how skinny it is? And that ridge there, that ridge fits perfectly into there. You can see I put a bit of grease just around there, just to prevent any dust going in. But once these two pieces are married up, it really goes on quite well. You know, even though it is rubber, it seals up quite well. And then they've got quite a clever clamp, and it's a reusable clamp. So what you do is, with the clamp, you push it together until you get one-handed, until you get to where you like, and then to undo it, you slide the two pieces out from each other, which is quite handy. So that's going to go all back together. It's going to get that and that. That's going to go back on the other side. We'll stick the air filter, the V-stack back on. We'll give it a start and see what happens. Right, so I've got everything cleaned up. I'm going to put a bunch of new gaskets on there. So these go here, yay, and then you mustn't forget the spacer. The spacer goes there like that. And then last but not least, another gasket. And then it's ready to bolt up. So I always like to do everything by the book. So here I've got my torque wrench, and the limit, the starting torque is 2.9 Newton meters, and the limit is 3.9. So I've got my torque wrench set at 3.6, good sort of in between number, and you get it on there. As soon as you hear the click, you know that you're in business. E320 maintenance book for the torque settings. Right. So I've got it all buttoned up. Moment of truth. I also had these had come loose, and the one had actually come off my last outing. So let's see about that prime bulb. Oh, look at that. A nice head of gas. Got the choke on, and should we give it a start? There's the pop. Right, so it's had its first pop, and I've had to adjust the needles a little bit and the idle and so forth just to get it to run a little bit better. Let's give it a go. So I reckon that one's in the bag, and yeah, so we've got to move on to the next one. Just before we move on to the next one, here is the body, and I added a couple decals on the side. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you guys think. So next up, we've got to get that one on, get the carb cleaned, get that power stack on, and then we'll give that a start as well. Got some fans going, got a door open over there just to dispel some of the smoke. Woohoo! Next. Right, so same as before, got the carb all cleaned up. I've stuck a new velocity stack gasket on there. I've got two new carb gaskets. I got my spacer on there, and yeah, the OBR power stack goes on. Right, so it's had its first pop. Let's give it a go. See what happens. Hope you guys enjoyed the time in my workshop with me, doing a few little bits and pieces to my cars. Yeah, there's the MCD down there. Yeah, so thank you all for watching, and remember to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you really soon. I've got a bunch of other things going on. Some pretty interesting, well, going to be wrenching vids again coming up. I've got a twin motor to do a head kit on for a friend of mine, so stay tuned. We're going to get this out on the weekend. We try and get that out on the weekend as well. We might even try and get that out on the weekend as well. Yeah, so enjoy. Cheers.